Hi all, thank you for joining on this lunch break on Thursday to speak about spring budget that was announced yesterday by Chancellor of Exchequer, Mr. Jeremy Hunt. Before jumping into the key highlights that came from the budget yesterday, I thought I'll do a quick refresher on autumn budget, which happened a few months ago. The key we were expecting some changes might happen yesterday after the autumn budget. So we thought, some of the announcements that the chancellor made during the autumn budget might get reversed because of the timings or because of the circumstance that the country was at that time and the circumstance the country is in now. But unfortunately, none of the decisions got reversed. So we'll do a quick recap on things that got announced in autumn budget. So corporation tax, currently at 19%, that's got changed in autumn budget. So any company that earns more than 50,000, they'll be on a marginal rate. Anyone who earns less than 50,000, they'll be on a 19% tax. So that's something to think about if your profits are above 50,000. Dividend allowance effectively is a double whammy because you're paying higher corporation tax and also higher dividend tax, especially if you're an owner-managed business. From April 2023, the tax-free allowance of 2,000 will be reduced to 1,000. And from April 2024, that'll be reduced even by 500. So not a great news for people who earn a lot of the income through dividends. And also we know that last year dividend tax rates got increased from 7.5% to 8.75, and from 32.5 to 33.75. So it's not great news if you're a contractor too. So effectively you're getting hit on your corporation tax and also you're getting hit on your dividend tax. Other thing that happened during autumn budget was the higher tax threshold got reduced. When I say additional tax rate got reduced from 150,000 to 125,000, 140. So if you earn up to 150,000, you pay 40% tax, and if you earn more than 150,000, you pay 45% tax as of today. But from 6th of April, that will change. So anyone earning over 125,000, 140 will pay 45% tax. And anyone earning less than 125,000, 140 will pay 40% tax. And one other thing to remember is if you earn more than 100,000, every £1 you earn, you lose 50 pence of your personal allowance. So effectively, if you earn 125,000, 140, you wouldn't have any personal allowance utilized. So something to think. If you're earning on a contract as umbrella income, or if you're a permanent employee earning as a PAYE income, some things that you can do to navigate are putting money into pensions or investing on VCIT schemes, etc. The other main thing that got announced during the autumn budget was the capital gains allowance. So as you know, capital gains is a separate calculation. It's not income. It's not part of the income tax calculation. So at the moment, first 12,300 is tax-free on your capital gains tax. But from 2023, that will be reduced to 6,000. And from 2024, that will even be reduced to 3,000. So not the great news if you're doing a lot of trading activity, or if you're selling your properties, etc., because the capital gains allowance are getting reduced significantly. If you're into stocks trading, if you're into share trading, highly advised to use stocks and stocks ISA, where you can do this trading on your ISA account, and any gain made on the ISA account is tax-free. So it's something to think about. Other main announcement from the autumn budget was the minimum wage, which increased from £9.50 to £10.42. If you're a contractor earning on your daily rate, and if your contract is coming to an end, if you're negotiating new rate from April, just to bring to your clients or agents' attention about this, because this effectively kind of means that your daily rate has to be increased to be in line with inflation too. Taxation and wages. So one of the main announcement that was made yesterday is about the pensions. So currently there's a lifetime allowance on your pensions set at 1.074 million, but that's been completely removed. So that's been unlimited now. This mainly to retain the doctors in the NHS, because a lot of the doctors pay into pensions, and the moment they reach 1.07 million, they're not motivated to work, because they can't put more money into pensions. So government is saying that by removing this, it will encourage a lot of the doctors to stay in the profession and to serve NHS, and also for other general public. So they can't have a separate law for doctors and separate law for general public. So it's just out there for everyone. The other main announcement was the yearly allowance of 40,000 getting increased to 60,000. Right. So at the moment, the maximum you can pay into pensions is 40,000, but from 6th of April, that will get increased to 60,000. I had a question from a client. Does it mean that they can, if somebody's contributing next year, when they go back 3 years, where they have to use 60,000 as a go back figure of 40,000? It's unfortunate it has to be 40,000, and going forward, the future value will be 60,000. Other main announcement is the fuel duty. So government was scheduled to end that reduction end of April, but with the current energy crisis, they've decided to keep the reduction on fuel duty for another year. Alcohol taxes. So if you buy alcohol from the shops, unfortunately, it'll be on a higher price. But if you drink from pub, obviously the increase is not there. Tax on tobacco will increase 2% above the inflation. So not a great news for the smokers either. Energy, as a lot of we are in a severe energy crisis, which is why a lot of household bills are significantly high compared to a few years. So government is paying a small amount on your bills. If you look at your bill, you can see the government subsidized amount that was supposed to end in March. So they've extended for another 3 months. So that'll end of June. Hopefully by end of June, the prices will come down. And government is also allocating 200 million towards people who are having energy meters rather than smart meters. So currently, people who want prepayment meters tend to pay a bit more than people who pay on direct debits. Government is trying to bring in line both of them rather than penalizing people on prepayment meters. Government is also allocating a lot of funding towards low carbon energy projects. Obviously, for sustainability reasons, and government's focus on achieving net zero limits on the carbon footprint. Other main change was the nuclear energy. So nuclear energy at the moment is not classified as environmentally sustainable investment, but in future that will be classified as environmentally sustainable for investment. Even though you might be thinking just a change on the wording, this is a significant impact for people who are in this trade, because this classification, this difference in classification will mean that the grants, the capital allowance, etc., will be on a different beneficial rate rather than what it used to be there for the nuclear energy sector. There was a lot of news about leisure centers closing because of high energy prices and swimming pools not being heated, etc. So government is putting 63 million to make sure that all these leisure centers keep going rather than shutting it down. The other main announcement that came from yesterday is the 30 hours free childcare. So I have friends who kind of gave up jobs to be nursing their kids at home, because they've compared the cost they'll incur sending someone to nursery against the salary they've learned, right? So what government is saying is that to encourage people to work, they're extending the 30 hours childcare program for 1 and 2 year olds. So there's a timeline of this, which we'll share after this webinar, where you'll see the complete breakdown of it. So it's very good news for people who can't afford childcare and giving up jobs. So this will really motivate people to go back to work and save some money on the childcare too. If you're on universal credit and if you receive childcare support, currently you're receiving 646, and that will get increased to 951 pounds going forward. And if you are thinking of a childminder, or if your current childminder, there's an incentive payment from the government of 600 pounds for people to get into this industry. New fitness to work assessment scheme has been implemented. So this is a new scheme. So we're waiting for more details on it. We'll share those details sooner. This is basically encouraging employers for give this additional benefits for employees, right? Up to 50,000 have been funded in the new voluntary employment program for disabled individuals called Universal Support. This is encouraging people who are disabled to get back to the workforce. Also, government is becoming much more stricter on people claiming benefits and not working. So claiming job seekers allowance, so universal credit is becoming quite tough. Government also trying to encourage over 50 years to come and work and bring them back to the workforce rather than letting them to retire. So it's a skills boot camp. They're setting it up. So we'll see more on this in coming days. And also to encourage labor shortages, especially after Brexit. Government is encouraging relaxation on some of the immigration rules, especially on construction sector, but we are seeing this on the IT sector and a few other sectors too. Economy and public finances. As you know, a few months ago we were almost hitting to become onto recession, but that's got sidestepped. So economy is projected to shrink by 0.2%, but then we are not getting into deep recession, which is a good news. For the following year, the growth 1.8%, 2.5%, and 2.1% subsequently, right? The other main is the inflation. So currently, UK inflation is, last quarter was 10.7%, and that's got a decline of 2.9% by end of this year. It's a good news for people who are on mortgages because, as you know, the inflation is directly linked to your Bank of England base rate. So if inflation is high, the base rate is high. If inflation is low, base rate is low, right? So hopefully the base rate will not go up because the government is trying to reduce the inflation. So it's good news for people who want mortgages. Obviously, we are, as a country, borrowing more. So at the moment, it's 92.4% on GDP that we are borrowing, but that's going to increase to 93.7% in coming year. Obviously, I covered the corporation tax earlier, so just reiterating the same point again. Any company earns less than 50,000, pay 19%. Anyone above 50,000 will be on a marginal rate on corporation tax. Businesses will be able to increase their taxable profits by putting money into investments, machinery, technology, etc. So they do get capital allowance on those ones. And government is also setting up 12 new investment zones across UK. So what government wants to do is do a similar setup like Connect Revolve in other areas in UK. So there's lots of funding going to that in the next 5 years. International trade, if you're buying and selling, or if you're providing trade internationally, there's lots of red tape, lots of paperwork currently when it comes to customs, duty, etc. So government understands this, and even